Right, champs, welcome back. So today we've got a fun one. If you've ever wondered what it takes to go from 0 to 20K per month in an expert-led business online, this video is for you, because we're talking to Stephen, who's one of my clients I've been working with for 6 months now, who went from literally 0 in his coaching business, he's a relationship and dating coach, to making nearly 30K in just 2 days the other day. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. And if you're new here, my name's Tom. I run Scale 20, which is a coaching and consulting program helping online creators scale to their next 20K per month without funnels. More on that during this episode. So yeah, if you're new here, welcome, get involved, and watch this awesome interview with Stephen. Enjoy. Catch you at the end. Stephen Choi, aka Papa Choi, aka the man with the impeccable vibes, right? Dude, this is a long time coming, man. Like, so thank you very much for spending some time with me today, because you've had a hell of a couple of days. Yeah, so just to give a bit of context, we started working together, it must have been around 6 months ago, 7 months ago, something like that. And you came to me and you were like, Tom, I want to build my coaching business. And you were like, where do I start? And I was like, okay, we're doing this from scratch. The context to this is that you are by no means a beginner at what you do, and you are by no means a beginner at the game that we play, which is social media, online marketing. You've got a really great pedigree. You've got a great entrepreneurial pedigree, but this was a new offer for you. This was a new business for you, right? So we're going to have a little chat about that, dude. But thank you very much for joining us, man. It's absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me here. Always love to vibe with you, Tom, the legend. Thank you.
Thanks, dude. Thank you, dude. So, okay, well, how about this? Like, let's kick it off with the jet fuel, right? So you dropped in the Wins channel yesterday. Actually 2 days ago, you were like, yeah. So, how about you tell it? You tell the story, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have this thing, Monday Wins, right? Every Monday we update, right? And I kind of like purposefully, like I knew that, like, I've got a couple of sales calls on Monday. I'm gonna update the channel after these calls wrap up. And then yeah, I signed a client. I created a new client or like around 9.9K, something like that. And then I renewed another client for, I think, what, like 9.4K or something. And then 2 days later, I renewed another client for 10.2K. And this was interesting, just like thinking about that. Like, it's like now I'm just like, okay, like this is like my reality. At the same time, I remember actually, Tom, when we started working together, you're like, hey, Steven, what's your goal? Like, tell me your revenue goal. I was like, 30K a month, you know? And then you were like laughing a little bit. I was like, I respect you. Like, that's a big goal. It's gonna take like a bit of time, but like, you can get there, you know? And yeah, like I mean, we're not there yet, but it feels like I'm kind of like aligning, like, doing everything in my power to really to be in that direction. And your support and guidance have been very pivotal. So I appreciate it big time, brother. Thank you.
Dude, it's all up to you, man. It's all up to you. Like, genuinely, yeah, like this is. So when I sit down with people and I kind of ask them, I'm like, okay, so what are your goals here? And yeah, you were like, yeah, 30K per month is where I want to get this. And I think I was like, what do you want? Where do you want to get in 3 months? And you said 30K. You were saying, I want to get 30K a month in 3 months. And, I was like, I'm a huge believer in big goals, big, scary goals. And I was like, dude, that's a great goal. And I'm like, it would be amazing if you can get to 30K. I remember I was like, I didn't even say anything. I was just like, let's do this, man.
Yeah.
And I just know that from in personal experience, I would say things take like 3 times longer, like typically, like around that I found. For you, it's less than that. You've like, I would say it's probably just twice as long as you expected. But you did it, dude, because you didn't look for shortcuts. And this is what I'd love to ask you about, because I think this is super, super common in the coaching industry and in the online kind of service provider space, people building their businesses. There is so much of this BS of huge, wild promises, ridiculous guarantees and claims like, hey, I'll get you 30 new clients in a week, or you don't pay. And it's like, for me, I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, you're just telling me with that there's a chance that this doesn't work. And if I go down this path with you, I'm putting my time and I'm investing my time into this, not just my money. And that to me is more precious. So that's why I don't do any of this promise BS. And what you did, which I love, was you just worked at the foundational stuff, which is like, I'm going to tap into my network because I know that my first 6 figures is in my network already. It exists. And that's what you did. And you use that as a platform to build how you coach people. And then you've now got into the realm where it's like, okay, let's amplify the message that you've got, which is I can help people on this transformation. Tell us a little bit about it's been 6 months now. What are some of the kind of the main kind of points where you were thinking, okay, I've got to make a decision here. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? I'd love to know kind of your thought process through these.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you did a pretty solid job, like summarizing the vibe here. But really, what happened was when I came to you, Tom, I was at a point where, okay, like I had coached before, in my mid 20s, mainly because I was coming from a position where I was heartbroken. I really wanted to solve my own problem as it pertains to dating and relationships and all that stuff. And then I solved it a little bit, and then I started helping other guys do the same. And then basically I was like, okay, I know the chops a little bit. So like getting back into it wasn't really an issue. But then I'm like, okay, how do I actually spread the word about what I'm doing? And then I was like, okay, obviously content, that's where most people kind of like look at. And I'm like, okay, like I've got a lot of stuff to share. So let me just create a lot of these advice videos every single day. So I remember doing this challenge. I think for 3.5 months, 4 months or so, I posted like a video every single day. And then wasn't making any money doing it, And I was like, okay, how do I even get to the next step? And then basically it dawned on me that, okay, this is a long game, as you always talk about. This is a long game. It's not like I'm gonna just like go all in on content for the following 6 months and then be done with it and then take a break. No, it's gonna be a long game. Let's actually create a system around it. Let's actually create a habit around creating content in a sustainable way. Still figuring my way out. Actually, FAFO, right? I'm still experimenting with that. Fucking around, figuring it out. But then I was like, okay, let's take a step back and let's actually like I know a lot of people in all corners of the world, and they know people who can potentially introduce me to as well. And hey, my initial hypothesis is that like I've helped a lot of men solve their dating and relationship issues and create their dream relationships. But then let's take an even further step back. I've also, during my journey of building different entrepreneurial ventures, I've come into contact with a lot of different kinds of people from all corners of the world, and um, I've helped them kind of like figure out just different things. But everything has come to this one point of, okay, like fundamentally speaking, we're in the miracle business. We're here to help transform the way of being. Like they're not just the context might be, okay, you've come to me because you're heartbroken, you're depressed or whatever. But like fundamentally, this is how you perceive the world. This is how you navigate the world. And here's how I see it. Here's my experience. I've solved it my own way. I'm not telling you that my way is the right way, but I've gained a couple of experiences. I've solved my own issues, and I've, touched. I've helped other people kind of like navigate their journey way more powerfully. So then let's actually play. Let's collaborate and see what we can do to create these possibilities, new possibilities together. So really, with that mindset, I'm like, okay, I can help people. I'm not here to tell people that, hey, I know all the answers, but I want what I am excited about is that as long as I meet the right people, qualify for magic, as long as I qualify for the right people, and then as long as I know that, let's say like I'm having a conversation with a new person, and deep down I know that, wow, we are meant to meet at this time to really create some magic together. If I believe that, I know that they believe that as well. And as long as we have that, it does not matter what my niche is, right? So like let's just throw away all the hypothesis first and let's just have a big wide canvas and let's just like throw stuff at the wall like the FAFO, right? Again. So then yeah, and then I ended up working with like a handful of people, and then obviously out of I think the first five people I worked with, half of them were like traditional like men. They don't know how to like create their dream relationship. Some are like going on dates already, but they don't know how to find the right person. Some they just like they're very new at dating. They just don't know how to really like gain the confidence. They have a lot of like limiting beliefs, um, mindset, cold approaching, dating apps, and everything, right? The other half, nothing to do with dating really. So it's more about like a mindset, Hey, Steven, I see you. You graduated from university a long time ago. You were an investment banker, and now you have like a completely different life. I see what you're doing, and then I want to live. I want to build my life similar to yours. I just want to like learn from you. So I've had a couple of folks kind of who reached out to me for this as well. So then, yeah, it's been a journey of really figuring out like who I can really help and how I can help them powerfully and what we can do to really have fun together. Like how can we actually play together to create this magic? Because mastery comes from experimentation and playfulness. And yeah, that's been the journey. And yeah, even just like right now, well, I remember hitting you up after I've gotten to pretty good level of okay, you know what? Like I played around with it. Now, like I want to get back into actually making more content because let's add jet fuel to this. Then it's become like a bit of wildfire. I'm still like very this very early innings, right? But yeah, for example, a couple of weeks ago, just having like I think 4 or 5 fresh conversations just straight off of content, right? And that was wild. And then the latest client I just created now, he literally the first thing was, hey Steven, I already I'm already working with another coach. I already paid like $8,000. And then I saw your content, one video, just one video, and one video was all it needed to hook me to book a call with you. And to me, that's like, bro, that's dream come true. That's literally, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. And that's exactly how I envisioned, like putting my vibe out there so that it's almost like because I'm looking for different ways to express my vibe, my way of being, my philosophy, how I help people, who I help, what kind of transformations they're creating, what we're doing to create together, some of the crazy stuff. And people see that and they resonate with that. And then we like book a call and then we qualify for magic and then we kind of create these possibilities. Like, yeah, so like honestly, brother, I would say since like the start of this year, like it's been like I can't believe it's already like, October 31st, already like the year's almost gone, like 2 more months left. It just like it's been very like I feel like I'm just like riding this wave. And I'm just like very like focused. Like we're talking about different seasons, season of like focus and foundation, laying that foundation. So like I barely seen or like I barely really interacted with other people, which is very atypical of me. Like I'm always out there interacting with people, bringing people together, connecting people, connecting with people, all that stuff. But like it's been very much about, hey, let's build this business. But I'm having so much fun with it, and yeah, just like I feel like I'm tapping into the right vibe. So thank you again.
Incredible, dude. Dude, yeah. Look, I mean, here's the truth. I said this on a call today as well. Like I said this to, yeah, just enrolling a new client. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, how fun is this? Like I just get to be on a call here. I was sat on like a balcony, having a chat, having a talk about helping each other out, helping you out to make your dreams come true. And to like you said, like make magic. And I think that is the beauty of the model that we have, which is around this idea of attraction. So we are not going out to the market and just like being like, hey, work with me, work with me, work with me. We're saying, hey, my name's Steven. I love doing these things. This is what I do. I'm pretty good at these things. These are the results that I've done, and this is kind of how I do things. And then, like you said, people watch one video and they're like, I just need to work with that guy. And it is the vibe attracts your tribe.
Mm.
And I'm also at this stage now where I'm, the people who are in our community, it just feels like a group of best friends. Just like really, it's that simple, right? And I think when you build this business properly with the right model, magic does happen. And
Mm.
I'm not surprised at all that magic's happened for you like this. And yeah, like you've got a really, I know kind of we've met a couple of times in London, which is really cool because you're living in London at the moment, which has been amazing. A rare opportunity for me to meet my clients. So we've met up a couple of times, which is awesome. You've got some really cool potential things lined up. What feels like the next kind of step for you? Where you're at, where you're at now? What feels like the next frontier?
Mm.
Knowing that you're in a season of kind of focus, which I completely get.
Yeah.
I was just in one a few weeks ago. That's just the wave, right? The wave goes up and down. You got to get
Mm.
locked in, and then you
Mm.
then you chill out for a bit. So yeah,
Mm.
tell us what's next for you.
A few things, Tom. I would say the first thing is something that I'm very like, you've inspired me a lot, when I look at, Freedom Creators community, I mean, I've been in it since like what 6 months ago now, and then like since it's grown so much, and now there's like so much vibe happening, and every day I'm like going to it, I'm like, damn, like I'm just so behind. I need to catch up on so many things. I'm like focus. I'm like okay, like I need to, and then I just love that. And for me, I really see community as like a big differentiator you can have, as not only a content creator but also as a coach as well. Because as AI's advancement just accelerates, how are you gonna really differentiate yourself? Well, your tribe, and I'm no stranger to community. Like that's like I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about rolling out a group program, end of November, and then off the back of that, essentially like launching yeah, like a community essentially, and then figuring out a way to like structure my education, not just like having like a loads of series of one-on-one calls, which I really enjoy doing, but at the same time, like actually um, taking a page out of a playbook and really take some time to like sit down and be like, hey, okay, here's how to do like powerful storytelling, here's how to like really listen powerfully. Here's how to make them feel seen, so heard and seen that they want to repeat this experience. Here's how to build intimacy. Here's how to communicate. Like all these things, I'm really excited about kind of creating these types of like content in general, right? So yeah, the online community bit, content bit. I have like a pretty cool YouTube video coming up pretty soon called something like I taught a 28-year-old virgin to approach 100 women in 7 days, based on like my real experience. It's super
Amazing.
exciting. I'm going to a matchmakers conference in Cancun early November. So like gonna be meeting a lot of people sort of like in this sphere, right? So that like there's gonna be a lot of like strategic alliance JV opportunities as well. Yeah, so many. I can keep on
So
going,
much.
but some of the yeah.
So much, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
how about this? Because I actually think I know what your superpower is, and it kind of hit me when I met you.
Mm.
So we were talking, and you are like clearly your one of your superpowers is communication, and being able to communicate with people. That goes without saying. I think I found out what your actual superpower is though. You when we were having lunch, you would I was talking to you about stuff, and you were talking to me about how I was listening to your stories about how you kind of went through this transformation yourself, about having confidence, about going and speaking to people. And um I remember you said like you were just like, yeah, I just when I speak to someone, like I'm thinking from the frame that they're lucky to be speaking to me. And I was like, it like rocked me, man. Because I
Mm.
was like, I remember being like, I was thrown. I was like, how do you even get to that point? Could you like, because I'd love for this to be, because I think this is such a powerful thing, especially for us when we are in, especially for sales. You are no shit, you're incredible at sales, like absolutely incredible, because you just understand this stuff. but you also have an incredible mindset, which for you probably just doesn't even feel like a mindset anymore. It's just natural. Can you explain to as you did to me, like what that meant around the kind of like someone being lucky to speak to you?
Mm. Yeah, wow. That's a powerful question. Thanks for bringing it up again, Tom. Um, I would say it's funny because like when I actually look back on all my personal development journey over the past 17 years or so, um, I'm like, yeah, it's been such a gradual journey, but then there's been like a couple of points where it's just like slow, and then like boom, it jumps, like a huge insight, huge breakthrough. And then it just like you kind of like again, and then like boom, like that. Um, and basically, this whole idea came about when I realized that in the earliest stages of my personal development, I just wanted to solve my pain points so bad, which is like, okay, I don't feel I'm good enough to attract my dream girl, and then I was pointing my finger at myself a lot. Okay, maybe I'm not good looking enough. Maybe I'm not tall enough. Maybe I'm not successful enough. Maybe I'm just not enough. Maybe I'm just not worthy enough. So like because that was the context, that was the frame, that was a lens through which I was looking at the world. Everything that I was doing was around fixing those problems, a set of problems. So then like every time I approached, women, every time I wanted to connect with people, it's almost like my frame was like, oh, I hope they like me, because I'm already coming from a position of lack, you know. So I hope they like me, and I hope they approve me. So that kind of like that was like the main thing. And now fast forward a few years, after I realized that, okay, you know what? I became pretty decent at like striking up conversations, breaking the ice, spontaneously, like on the streets, on the tube, at a restaurant, at a cafe, wherever, like just like when you put a lot of reps in, that's what happens, right? You just really learn a lot. So like I essentially was able to perfect the facade of a super confident guy. But then what I still couldn't really solve was at the end of the day, what I really, really was just getting a girlfriend. That's what I really
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, you know what? Like, I have all these leads. I'm going on all these dates, but like it's really difficult for me to have these like vulnerable conversations because I'm just like I just don't want to like I just don't want to be hurt again. So that was my context. And now like, I really took a look at that and I was like, you know what? I need to understand how I can actually solve my low sense of worth, like this lack that I was having, like my insecurities. How do I actually how do I actually overcome my limiting beliefs? My way of looking at the world, my operating system, right? It has been such that, like there's fundamentally something that's a little bit like I've got a chip on my shoulder. But then a lot of that was actually shaped by my past events where, instead of letting the events be, like I'm coloring these events with my own interpretations. Humans are meaning making machines. Okay, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good enough, whatever. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's actually separate these things, from these my interpretations from these events. Okay, you know what? Actually, objectively speaking, um, like my interpretations don't really have anything to do with these events, number one. And number two, if that is true, if I actually accept that, let's actually forgive myself. Let's actually start accepting myself. And then really once I've started on this journey of self-acceptance and self-love, and then once I proactively started to pour love into me, then the way I framed, the way my frame, the way I was looking at the world completely shifted, right? To the point where when I was like going out to approach people or like connecting with people, doesn't matter romantically or not romantically, I'm here, like I was suddenly like, instead of like trying to take something from them, I'm like, hey, I'm curious about you. Curiosity is a form of love. I'm here to give value. And once I started doing that again and again and again, people started telling me, I was like, hey, Steven, you have the best vibe. You're like the vibe master. Like everyone talks about it, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Is that true? I guess whether it's true or not, that's how they see me and I like it. So let's actually incorporate that. And then they're like, and then a couple of people were like would tell me, hey, Steven, like the conversations I have with you is like I've never had a conversation like that. You've like really lifted me up, you know? And then as I've been kind of traveling around the world, connecting people, you know, doing my thing, I realized that, okay, you know what? Like, let's actually like there's a place for, you know, being humble. At the same time, let's actually recognize my strengths, you know, my unique sort of like a selling point. And like, yeah, I just love I just I just love connecting with people, like really figuring out what their real like hidden superpowers are. And I want to like, a lot of them are very shy about like letting their authenticity shine. Like, let me like bring that out of you, right? And that's my job. Like I'm like a cheeky instigator. So then like let's do that, right? And then that's why like my coaching I think is like so like powerful, right? Because like that's kind of what happens like again and again and again. So it becomes like people feel so seen and heard, you know, and they want to repeat that experience, of course, right? So then I was like, okay, you know what? So once that started happening a lot, and I actually saw in my real world, my reality has completely shifted. And then just like I just kept on seeing more and more evidence, and people are like literally telling me, I was like, hey, Steven, you're the most confident guy I've ever met in my life, and you're the most like uplifting person. You're not just like a cocky dude like trying to like brag or whatever, but like you're just here to really like you're like a different dude, you know. So then that's when it really clicked. That's when it really clicked. And then and I started teaching this to people, right? You can actually actively shape your reality. You can actually actively shape your frame, right? And then, but then the first step is to actually, you have to really accept yourself. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to really, really face your demons and darkness, and then understand like why you have these demons, like why you have this operating system in the way it's been, and how do you actually install a brand new operating system, right? And then how do you come from this position of like true abundance and strength so that when you actually interact with someone new, you know, instead of you're trying to take something from them, you give value. And when you once you actually become so comfortable, so like habitual at giving a lot of value, it's like giving gifts. Well, like then you it's that, that's the vibe right there. You know, who doesn't like to receive, you know, something amazing? Who doesn't like it when when someone sees you for who you really are, for the truth you have, you know, even better than sometimes you can even like fathom. Um, so yeah, I'll say that's the vibe.
Dude, love it. I like just before we got on this call, by the way, I was in the elevator coming up to my apartment, and yeah, I just gave a girl in the lift just a compliment on her hat that she was wearing. And yeah, it's like, you know, I know that she went home like with a smile on her face. Like it's that simple, but like being curious. Curiosity is the secret to sales, by the way. Not just, and guess what? Curiosity is the secret to communication and having a vibe. So,
Mm.
Stephen, I want to be respectful of your time because it's the evening there in London. I think, you know, I think ultimately I know you. I'm very fortunate to get to know you, to have got to know you. You're just an extremely interested and interesting human. Like you're like an international traveler. You're the digital nomad, but at the same time, you just like you are just the most fun to be around. And it's just been a pleasure having you just and building this alongside you. And this is just the first step, man. You know, we haven't even entered the big, you know, the big arena now. And no doubt you are going to absolutely crush. So thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Tom. I mean, again, like I feel I consider myself extremely lucky to be able to cross paths with someone like you who's so inspiring on so many levels. Every time I, you know, listen to your content and check out the community, I'm just like learning so much. So yeah, the pleasure is all mine, and let's go. Like we're here to like, you know, uplift each other, uplift the community, you know, like we're all walking each other home. So
Love
yeah,
it.
like big up to
Love
you. Much love, brother.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen. Been a pleasure, man. Until next time, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace, man. Right, I hope you like that. If you want to know exactly how Stephen did that and how I'm building my business without funnels, without sales calls, without all the BS, keeping it simple, then check out this video over here. It's going to show you exactly how you can do it too. That was sick. I'll see you in the next one.